Welcome in this evening. I'm Lizzie Arbogast, sports editor at Tallapoosa Publishers, alongside managing editor Santana Wood. How are you?
I'm doing pretty great. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. I'm glad to be back.
Good. Yeah, we missed you yesterday, but it was fun to have a guest co-host to change things up.
Yeah, absolutely. I like to, make sure that we're hearing from all of our reporters out there who are working hard for sure.
Definitely.
So, we appreciate you guys always tuning in with us. We want to make sure that we're giving you as many updates as we can, coronavirus and otherwise. So we wanted to talk tonight a little bit about a new experimental drug that I'm going to let you say because I don't know how to say it.
Remdesivir. So this is an experimental drug for the coronavirus. The Alabama Department of Public Health received an allotment of it today, and it's supposed to help treat COVID-19 patients. The first shipments are being made overnight tonight to hospitals in the state. It was made available by a donation. At least one course of treatment will be sent to each hospital in Alabama that has reported a patient eligible for the drug.
So I guess it sounds like the quantity of the drug is limited, which is why only one course of the treatment will be sent to each hospital. Physicians, members of the governor's Corona task force is trying to determine a formula to be able to distribute the allotment of it. But the Gilead Sciences, that I guess is developing it, is committed to supplying about 600,000 vials over the next 6 weeks to treat an estimated 78,000 hospitalized COVID-19 patients.
Yeah, and so the donation to the U.S. is part of the 1.5 million vials of remdesivir that the company is donating worldwide. And basically, after a clinical trial, preliminary results suggested that this drug was associated with faster recovery for those patients with coronavirus, but there's not enough data to determine if it leads to lower mortality at this time.
And it sounds like the Food and Drug Administration really jumped on this, granted an emergency use authorization earlier this month for patients in areas of the countries that are hardest hit by the pandemic. So I think that's really good. It's just, important to still remember that there is no cure necessarily, no treatment, this is a treatment and there are ways to treat the symptoms, which we know of, but no vaccination. Any of those things are still being developed, but it does sound like this will at least hopefully help, that recovery process. That sounds like it's a really big struggle for those who have it really badly.
Yeah, really interesting to, to see how this is going to play out and how this is going to help those patients. With it being, experimental, there are some unknowns about it, but I do think that it will be interesting as more data is revealed, as more patients are starting to use it.
And obviously the hospitals here in Tallapoosa County and Elmore County obviously do have those positive patients. So we will make sure that we keep up with if that drug and when that drug lands, in the hands of our healthcare providers locally to see, what information we're able to find about that.
Definitely. And we do want to give y'all tonight an update on the latest coronavirus case numbers. As of 6:30 p.m., just before our show, when we checked the numbers, there were 10,464 reported positive cases of COVID-19 across the state. That's an increase of 300 since our show last night. 435 reported deaths, an increase of 32 deaths since last night as well.
Yeah, and there have been over 135,000 people now tested. We are keeping up with those testing numbers as well. So once we get a little bit more data on that, we'll be able to explore that as well, if those higher testing numbers are affecting the higher case numbers, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and so locally, Tallapoosa County has 330 confirmed cases. That's an increase of 3 since our show last night, and now 50 COVID-19 related deaths, which is an increase of 8 since our show last night. Also saw a little bit of an increase in Elmore County as well.
Yeah, Elmore County now has 156 confirmed cases, which is an increase of 4. Luckily, still only 4 deaths. Coosa County stays the same at 33 confirmed cases as well. well as just that one death. So we are going to take a quick break, and then we are going to come back to talk some local news. Hey, welcome back. I'm Lizzie Arbogast, sports editor here at Tallahassee Publishers, alongside managing editor Santana Wood. We appreciate you guys tuning in to talk about, the coronavirus updates, as well as, get some local news updates, which we're going to dive into now.
Yeah, so Tallahassee County, we have some news tonight, some pretty big news. The Alexander City Chamber of Commerce announced today that the 30th annual Jazz Fest, originally scheduled for June, has been postponed to the first weekend in August. That lineup has yet to be announced due to the date change, but will be in the near future. And I'm just happy to hear that it's not canceled. Happy to hear that it has been postponed, at least, to be rescheduled. That's a huge event. People come from all around. Really important event for our local economy as well. So glad to see that they have postponed that.
Yeah, and Chamber President Ed Kalari, said that it just makes sense to push the event right now. There's no sense in necessarily canceling it right now. Once it gets closer, if things haven't changed a little bit more, that still is an option. But as of right now, they do not want to do that at all. They want to, find any way that they can. Obviously, the two venues, the Strand Park and the Amp out by the lake, are both outdoor. They're both spacious. You can find ways to social distance out there. So that's important to keep in mind as well.
Definitely. And Sunfest is still scheduled to commence the week before Jazz Fest as usual. We'll kick off July 31st. So that will still be in place there as well.
Yeah. Also, we got an update from Dadeville High School on its graduation ceremony. It is going to go ahead with its graduation ceremony at Tiger Stadium, the football field where it normally is. So that's great to hear. It has scheduled it for 5 p.m. rather than 7 p.m. It's also limiting graduates to 4 tickets per graduate. Social distancing will be practiced. So you can read a little bit more about that in tomorrow's Outlook.
Also, over in Elmore County, a drive-through coronavirus testing clinic was held today in Tallahassee. This was a joint effort by the Elmore County EMA, Tallahassee Fire Department, and also Alabama Department of Public Health. Alabama Department of Public Health reported 20 people showed up to the drive-through testing clinic. So pretty good turnout. Not a huge turnout, but I guess that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, exactly. So the Elmore County schools also had an audit of its financial reports, and there were instances of the system's failure of properly documenting its financial matters. There were 4 instances found, and Superintendent Richard Dennis addressed each of those instances and said that the school system funds were not misused or misplaced. So you can find out more information about that in the Wetumpka Herald tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. Also want to end on a good note tonight. We've got some pretty good news here in Tallahassee County. Residents at Chapman Healthcare in Center were wheeled into the front parking lot while nearly 250 cars paraded by, followed by Alexander City Police and fire departments also blaring their vehicles' lights and sirens, just really giving those residents something to have a little bit of fun with today, show them some support. They've been kind of cooped up, not having their usual social things that they have and not being able to have their visitors. So I think that was really good for them today.
Yeah, so we're going to cut to just a short little video clip of that. So that was definitely awesome to see. The residents had a lot of fun with it. They got dressed up and got to see their families and friends come by and yell and wave at them, and so that was very cool to see.
Definitely. There's also was a similar parade in Wetumpka over the weekend to celebrate Mother's Day. You can read more about that in the Wetumpka Herald that comes out tomorrow as well. So as always, we want to thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you so much for trusting us as your local news source. We really appreciate your support. Appreciate you tuning in and trusting us. We will see y'all again tomorrow night at 7 p.m. to deliver you the latest local news. And we appreciate y'all. Again, I'm Santana Wood, managing editor, alongside Lizzie Arbogast, sports editor. Y'all have a good night.